Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of Galactic Reviews. Unfortunately, Zach was unable to make it in time and make it to the movie in time. But we're just gonna try to keep the ball rolling. I was gone for a little bit. Hopefully, he's not gonna be gone for nearly as long as I was. But maybe we'll catch him on the next one, especially if we choose like Minions. He'll
Yeah.
definitely be there.
Well, all I know is that he went out and rode his bike into a parking lot and then met this kid, and that's all I know. So hopefully he's okay.
Anyways, if you had seen the movie, you could probably already tell what this one is. But if you haven't, we are watching The Bikeriders, or we watched
Yeah,
The Bikeriders,
yeah,
new movie starring Tom Hardy and Austin Butler, a dramatization of a real life motorcycle gang based on a photo book that was put out about a period of years in the 60s around the foundation of the biker gang.
yeah. I don't know much more other than it was made on a book.
Yeah, that's about all you need to know about what the movie is about without seeing it.
I'm
Uh,
assuming it came out in like the late 70s or 80s, maybe, because they were still doing. The
the
guy was
book
still doing
itself,
it. Well, I mean, the guy was still doing interviews.
yeah, in the 60s, yeah,
So yeah, but later interviews was like in '73.
something like that, yeah.
So maybe he'd already done the book by then. I don't know, but it's never explicitly said when the book came out. It's just said it's based off this book.
Published in 1967.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, 1967.
Okay.
The synopsis of the book says 1968, but also it says originally published 1967.
Okay. Then I wonder why he just went. I wonder why he went back then. If it was then for nothing else but more than curiosity.
But yeah, 1967, 1968 is when the book came out. So yeah, this movie just follows a motorcycle gang, the Chicago Vandals, otherwise known as the One Percenters. If you know anything about motorcycles and motorcycle gangs, this gang is the biggest gang in the country, and they are still around to this day.
Do they still shoot people or?
I don't know about that, but they all I knew next to nothing about them except the negative reputation that the one percenters have.
Well, we now know why they got that reputation.
Yes, we do, and it makes me sad. But before we dive deep into this movie, I'll go ahead and give it to my review. I'll give it two ratings. From a completely unbiased movie review, quality of the movie, quality of the acting, quality of everything. A very solid 7 to 8. The acting's good. You're always going to get top-notch acting when you have Tom Hardy in a movie. You're going to get top-notch acting from Tom Hardy when he's in a movie. We're going to ignore Venom, especially the second one. But Tom Hardy, you're going to get top-notch acting from him. Austin Butler, you're going to get top-notch acting from him. All of the actors really did well in their roles. This was a really good period piece. When you see the photos at the end of the movie, a lot of the actors really reflected the photos of their characters in the book. And it was a good story, not a fictional story. So this doesn't have one of those endings that you're like, oh, that was great. It just kind of ends like life, but with some ups and downs of the rise of America's biggest motorcycle gang. So from a movie standpoint, 7 to 8. From a personal standpoint, 9 to 10. Just because of my personal connection with motorcycles, I really love this movie, and I would put this movie in my list of my favorite movies. Just personally, I loved it. Not much else to say. It was very nostalgic. It made me miss my bike a lot. Made me miss riding, and looking forward to being able to ride again.
I'm not a big biker guy, I guess is I mean, I think they're cool. Essentially just a giant tricycle without the two wheels on the side and just a motor, but
So like a
it's
motorized bicycle.
yeah. It's like they said, let's take the engine of the car and the frailty of a bicycle and put them together and see what happens. And like as a movie, I thought it was good. It's essentially in the format of like a documentary kind of retelling of the story, and I thought it was good. I thought the acting was fine. It does not have like a fairy tale like ending. It's very much just like, yeah. This is the how the gang started. This is where it is now. This is how it got there, and these are the where the people are now that we were following. And then like kind of just leaves you there, like
Yeah.
um,
So I do appreciate when movies are based off of a true story because it takes out my ability to argue with the ending that much. I can't be like, oh, I wish this happened because it's literally people's lives. I just like, have to accept the ending because it was a true story. But overall, it was very good. I quite enjoyed it,
Yeah.
even though it's not a story a screenplay written beginning, middle, end. It's just the creation and rise
And then
and change.
fall and then
Yeah,
downfall.
unfortunate, but so yeah, this
And
this this movie, like what I know of the one percenters from looking into getting motorcycle and getting motorcycle is just kind of stay away from motorcycle gangs. They don't have a good reputation. There are instances of people with the one percenter patch that you want to kind of like be wary of. And there's instances of like people passing one of these people on their motorcycles. So like they're just kind of cruising and they just people want to go faster and they pass them. And they'll like chase them down because they see it as like a sign of disrespect. And they'll like chase them down and yell at them or like jump them. It's crazy. That's why motorcycle games have bad reputation because of them. But I would love to join a motorcycle gang one day, but nothing like national level or statewide level. Literally just like a local like city gang. But they just once a week they'll go out to eat pizza and ride around and chat about motorcycles. That's all I want. Not even a gang, just like a club, a group. Yeah, but this movie was very nostalgic of times gone by and the kind of society and groups we used to have. And now we're not able to have those kind of things anymore just because the way society itself has evolved and changed. At least not in the form it used to be. It used to be we're brothers, and if you have a disagreement with me, we're gonna fight it out, but we're gonna come together at the end of the day. The scene where he gets challenged the first time and he's like fists or knives, and he's like, "I don't kill you, so fists." Duh. And then when they brawl with the other gang, immediately after that brawl happens, they're sitting drinking beers, talking about motorcycles.
yeah,
There was no malice. It was just all throwing your weight around. The good old days before I was alive.
before the pot smoking got in, it was
I love how they were like the pot smokers, the stoners, and then they just show a guy shooting up heroin and no weed. Just pot smokers, the guy with
yeah,
beards and long hair. That was it. It was a very interesting movie. It was definitely a very good example of when an entity just gets too big to control.
with great power comes great responsibility. See,
Yep.
even though he tries not to be in a Spider-Man film, he ends up being in one.
I definitely want to go like watch a documentary if there exists one of like the same story in the same era to see like how much was changed for the movie. That would be cool. But otherwise, I really liked it. It made me very nostalgic. There's nothing quite like riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, I know how that feels. I rode my bicycle all the time.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. It's as close as we can get to flying.
No, I'm pretty sure flying is as close as we can get to flying.
Nope. No. No. You're still in a cage. You're still a cager, even in an airplane.
Well, you could glide. You could do one of those hang glider things.
Well, yeah, you're right. There's hang gliding, yeah. And then the
Parachuting.
wingsuits.
There's parachuting. You're falling with style, but
You're right. No, very good movie. Austin Butler did a great job. I think the main female actress, I don't know her name, she did a great job.
I
Like all
was
the
not,
acting was very good.
I was not expecting the heavy Minnesotan accent when we were like in
I
Indiana.
wasn't either, but I really appreciated it. They really went into it.
It was like, well, like we got the guys here, and it's like,
I really appreciated it.
get the motorcycles off my lawn.
It
I
was
was
it
like,
was a
that came
very
out of
nice.
like it still went on, and I was like, okay, it's gonna somewhat level off, maybe not no,
They were as authentic as they could be.
yeah.
Did you also call that the villain was going to be the main antagonist as soon as you saw him?
Did I call
As soon as they put him on screen, I was like, "Oh, this is the antagonist."
when the guy was stealing the hubcaps?
Yep.
No, but I did it after like the knife, like the original conflict. I was like, okay, that's gonna come back to bite him. Like that, like I
Yeah.
wasn't after the hubcap thing because I was like, okay, that's just them showing them being inspiring other people to like want to do this as well.
For me, I
just
thought
by
they should.
existing.
Yeah.
I didn't think that far down the line because I also didn't know how far this was. I didn't know a whole bunch about this at all. So I didn't know like that there was going to be an antagonist, like
I
everything
just
that's going to go
assumed there
down.
would be. Otherwise, there would be a movie about it if there wasn't something interesting about it.
Well, I thought it was just going to be more kind of like the Godfather in a sense where it's like the down where it's like the
Internal downfall.
internal downfall of like Johnny and the gang and
Yeah.
people breaking away from it in their own way, and Johnny sort of realizing that it's a downward hill, but there's no way that he can control it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as far as like a movie goes, I thought it was good. Is it a movie I'm gonna that I loved and I will want to watch again like in a year or two? Probably not, but it's still a good movie. For that, I'd give it like a 7.5
Yeah,
out
it's
of
it's
10.
definitely a long movie. It's a heavy movie. And unless you're really interested in motorcycles, it's just a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good it's just a good movie. Like I'm I'm just a bicycle guy myself, but it was a good movie about sort of kind of like a Godfather-esque kind of where it's a downfall, but with a twist, weird with a different sort of twist, which is kind of funny because Marlon Brando is the inspiration for um what's his face? Johnny Tom Hardy's character Johnny
Yeah.
getting the idea. I find that kind of funny.
I like seeing Austin Butler do. I mean, Austin Butler's just he's not new on the scene, but he's new in the spotlight.
Yeah,
And I like seeing him get varied roles that are able to show off his range. It's good. It's nice that we're seeing a new young actor that can do more than one role, which is unfortunately kind of like what Tom Holland is.
yeah. We'll see
I mean,
if
we
me
also have Timothy Chalamet, but Timothy Chalamet's been on the scene for a little bit. So apparently the
is that too far?
club started in 1935, but it was the McCook Outlaws Motorcycle Club. It'd be
Well, yeah,
I kind of wish I'd like
they had
researched
kind
into
of
this
they
to
had
have
kind
more
of
to
talked
talk
about
about.
it earlier, where it was like just a racing club, and then
Yeah,
it turned into the Vandals.
yeah.
So they kind of mentioned it as like Johnny and this other guy were part of this other club, and then they were kind of heading that club, and then Johnny wanted to take the club to more than just racing, and the other guy didn't want to do that, and so they kind of split.
Oh, hold on. I gotta share my screen real quick. So I'm on the they have a main website that just like talks about like the club store.
At bigcartel.com.
Oh man. I mean, they're probably more like normal now.
You say that, but we don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure.
They're called the Outlaws now.
I don't think so.
Then why are we
Oh, they might be the Outlaw 1%, Outlaws 1%ers,
club's official website?
Chicago Outlaws.
So they changed the name.
They did. Probably not to
Offend them.
the Vandals are fictional, but they're somewhat loosely based on the real Chicago Outlaws.
Oh, Johnny's not real.
Okay, so it's loosely based.
No, it just says is the character Johnny is inspired by the 1953.
The movie is not a direct retelling of the club's history. The writer fictionalized the plot and many details to create his own story.
Okay.
Okay. So now I definitely do have to go and watch a documentary on this club.
So Benny and Johnny might not have been real people.
No, because and apparently Johnny was just based on Marlon Brando's character.
No, that was saying earlier. It was just saying he was inspired by. It wasn't saying like what he was inspired by, like from the movie wise. He was just saying in the movie the character was inspired by this other movie to make this gang.
So,
It wasn't
apparently
saying what
Benny's
the
character is just based on a photo called Benny at the Stoplight, and the character itself was probably just Austin Butler's creation. Yeah, so that was like his own creative choices and who that character was. based on the script and the photo and his own decisions. Interesting. Okay, so now I have a much lower concept of what I thought the movie was about than it actually is.
Are you wanting to change your vote?
No, no, because it's still a motorcycle movie, and I haven't seen many, but that one was really well done, and it still makes me nostalgic. It reminds me of my love of motorcycles and riding. Overall, good story, fictional, but
Yeah,
fictional based off real events, or fictional based off a real gang.
and
So I'm curious
real,
what the actual story is.
somewhat,
Yeah,
somewhat real people,
yeah.
real characters and stuff for the most part.
Overall, enjoyable.
All right. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Galactic Reviews. Join us next time. We'll be watching Despicable Me 4. We'll see you next time on Galactic Reviews.
Banana.